Bittorrent value equivalent to 0.2642 rands a coin. The present cost range, 2572 and 2754. The earlier day closed Bittorrent 2733. The change was 0.2091 333%. Opposite rate, ZAR to BTT. Bittorrent cost expectation for July 2024. First and foremost cost at 0.1937 rands. Exorbitant costs pointed to 4, while low costs pointed 1937. The found the middle value of cost pointed to 131. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends pointed to 247, change for July 16%. Bittorrent estimate for August 2024. First and foremost cost at 0.247 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 444, while low costs pointed to 124. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 275. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends pointed to 224, change for August 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for September 2024. At the outset cost at 0.284 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 834, while low costs pointed to 284. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 513. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's end pointed to 649, change for September 16%. Bittorrent estimate for October 2024. To start with cost at 0.2649 rands. Exorbitant costs pointed to 684, while low costs pointed to 332. The found the middle value of costs is of 543. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends pointed to 5 change for October 5%. Bittorrent cost expectation for November 2024. To start with cost at 0.258 rands. Exorbitant costs pointed to 535, while low cost amounts to 223. The found the middle value of cost and pine to 404. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends pointed to 369, change for November 5%. Bittorrent figure for December 2024. Initially cost at 0.2369 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 369, while low costs pointed to 206. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 225. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends pointed to 157, change for December 9%. Bittorrent cost expectation for January 2025. Initially cost at 0.2157 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 345, while low costs pointed to 239. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 183. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's end pointed to 192, change for January 16%. Bittorrent figure for February 2025. Before all else cost at 0.1 to 192 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 296, while low costs pointed to 1996. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 158. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end pointed to 146, change for February 1%. Bittorrent cost expectation for Walk 2025. Before all else cost at 0.1 to 146 rands. Excessive costs pointed to 436, while low costs pointed to 118. The arrived at the midpoint of costs planned to 244. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends pointed to 277, change for spring 1%. Bittorrent estimate for April 2025. First and foremost cost at 0.1 to 277 rands. Exorbitant costs pointed to 475, while low costs went down to 151. The found the middle value of cost pointed to 304. Bittorrent cost estimate toward the month's ends pointed to 313, change for April 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for May 2025. To start with cost at 0.2 to 313 rands. Exorbitant costs went to 643, while low costs pointed to 297. The found the middle value of cost pointed to 431. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends pointed to 47, change for May 8%. Bittorrent conjecture for June 2025. Before all else cost at 0.2 to 47 rands. Excessive costs minus 366, while low costs pointed to 47. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 718. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends at 2865, change for June 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for July 2025. Before all else cost at 0.10 to 865 rands. Excessive costs means 2865, while low costs pointed to 299. The arrived at the midpoint of costs pointed to 625. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end pointing to 472, change for July 13.7%. Bittorrent figure for August 2025. Initially cost at 0.472 rands. Excessive cost 3.2688, while low costs base 8.336. The arrived at the midpoint of costs points in the 5.2. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends points into 5.12 change for August 1.6%. Bittorrent cost expectation for September 2025. In the first place, cost at 0.2512 rands. Exorbitant costs shrunk to 855, while low costs point to 481. The found the middle value of cost pointing to 629. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's ends pointing to 668, change for September 6.2%. Bittorrent figure for October 2025. Initially cost at 0.668 rands. Excessive costs 9.686, while low costs 9.334. The arrived at the midpoint of costs was 550. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends poison to 510 change for October 5.9%. Bittorrent cost expectation for November 2025. Initially cost at 0.510 rands. Exorbitant costs might down to 510, while low costs might down to 160. The found the middle value of cost might down to 376. Bittorrent cost gauge toward the month's ends might down to 323, change for November 7.5%. Bittorrent conjecture for December 2025. Before all else cost at 0.22323 rands. Excessive costs might to 884, while low cost points into 323. They arrived at the midpoint of costs motor to 556. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends burst into 695, change for December 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for January 2026. In the first place, cost at 0.2695 rands. Excessive costs blend into 90, while low costs plunged into 546. The arrived at the midpoint of costs motor to 727. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends passed into 738, change for January 16%. Bittorrent conjecture for February 2026. Before all else cost at 0.738 rands. Excessive costs down into 977, while low cost at 587. The arrived at the midpoint of costs blind to 771. Bittorrent cost conjecture toward the month's ends blinds into 782, change for February 16%. Bittorrent cost expectation for Walk 2026. Initially cost at 0.782 rands. Excessive costs from 3 into 5, while low costs spike into 629. The arrived at the midpoint of costs blind into 816. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's ends spikes into 827, change for spring 16%. Bittorrent figure for April 2026. Initially cost at 0.2827 rands. Excessive costs point on 377, while low costs point on 675. The arrived at the midpoint of costs point down to 864. Bittorrent cost figure toward the month's end spicing into 876, change for April 17%. Bittorrent cost expectation for May 2026.